Moving on to Idubbbz wife shit. So there was another blind item. I explained what Crazy Days and Nights were before. To be fair, Ent lawyer, he has a good record on here, but he also is not an entertainment lawyer. I'm starting to sound like anal. Now, yeah, well, the difference is I don't talk to Ralph behind this. I don't interfere. I don't talk to Ralph behind the scenes. Because you can't write for him. You can't write for him. This guy was not actually an entertainment lawyer, but he does get things more right than not. Anyway, so one of the reasons the Jean's YouTuber, which is Denims, and she's called Denims because her name is Jean, decided not to sue a fellow YouTuber. This was, if you recall my video where she did I was merely pretending to be retarded social experiment, saying she was going to sue and then not. Decided not to sue a fellow YouTuber because she didn't want her books looked at. Yeah, I totally believe that. And that makes her retracting it even funnier because it means that she can't even think far enough ahead to threaten the lawsuit and then realize 2 days later, wait a minute, I'm committing tax fraud. Maybe I shouldn't do that, right? Or her relationship with the significant other of the police YouTuber examined too closely. So this is claiming that Anisa is having some kind of like Keemstar-esque threesome only girls type cheating thing. I saw some posts in the Anisa thread saying that they don't believe this because Anisa would never, like, Anisa hates women, which is true. I really do think because like she sees them as like competitors, right? And most of them are better than her in every way. So like she would hate that, but she also might just do it because she's insane and wants to like humiliate Idubbbz more. So there's this. And she got in, she's like off the chain, like fighting with Ethan. And there's one very particular tweet here that she made that I thought was hilarious when she says, this is to the accusation that she writes the content cops, is Ian was too nice in his content cop. Trust me, if I was pulling the strings, it would have looked a lot different. No mercy for creepy misogynistic losers who can't handle criticism. And this is so funny because she somehow managed to find a way to write this tweet to imply that the content cop is bad. Like she's shitting on her own husband here. She's basically saying I would have done it better. So even though like their whole position is that it was justified and it's actually a good video, she managed to just shit on her own video, like her own side, like her own video, basically saying, yeah, it was like it pulled punches and wasn't so good. It's also just so funny that she's calling Ethan the high elf a incel when there's only one side here that's actually produced children. Like you cannot be denied that Ethan has had sex, not just because he has a wife, but because there's the product of a reproductive action, like 3 of them, right? Whereas there is no proof that Ian's ever had sex because they don't have kids because they're childless like nihilists. There's some clips from here. This is from like their Cope cast that they did after they just did like a couple days ago.
Also, I just want to say like we don't regret it.
Mm-hmm. I like how she speaks for him. She's like, yeah, looks over. We don't regret it. Looks at him, smiles. It's like, right?
Yeah.
Like, I just want to make that very clear. Like, this stepping away from the company is not because we regret what we've done.
Why would you do it? If you did not do damage to this, then why would you step away? If that was true that they hadn't done any damage, then they wouldn't. Then stepping away would be what does the damage, right?
We needed to do what we did. I'm very proud of what
I'm sure you are.
What you've done. I'm
very proud of what you've done. You notice how like she's so good at like framing everything so that all the good stuff was her and all the bad stuff was him. So it's like, I'm proud. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm proud of what you did that we all know is bad, right?
Very proud of, you know.
I am too.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. Cope, let's hear it.
I'm the happiest I've ever been. I know people are like,
you look like it.
Cope,
but I
know.
Truly am genuinely the happiest I've ever been in my life right now. I feel so freed. Just the idea that like we don't have to be silent. The being silent was fucking like soul crushing.
Yeah, I didn't realize how important that was to me and I think us in general is, you know, feeling like we can't fucking, like we have to, I don't know, like censor ourselves for the, you know, for other people, for...
But you do, it's so funny because they do censor themselves. It's just for someone else now.
Constantly censoring ourselves.
Yeah.
All right, what is the rest?
I'm ready to spread my wings in a different way. I'm like...
You're ready to spread your legs.
Fully ready to just start cooking and baking and
This is always what she does. Is whenever like it's like the pocket sand. It's Rusty Shackelford's pocket sand from King of the Hill. It's like whenever things are hard, she's just like throws out a picture of like the most worst baked cupcake ever. It's like, I'm gonna be a chef.
And I think I'm gonna take some. I'm gonna go to like a culinary program, and like I think it's so freeing. Like,
yeah, well, this is just every 6 months there's like a different identity, right?
None of it. It's really interesting that none of it, because back in the day it would have really upset me. I think like a combination of therapy and drugs. But even Ethan, like on his podcast, talking about me putting stuff in your oatmeal or saying that I'm whatever he's saying.
Right.
Okay. So you don't even know what the claim is.
None of that bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Then why do you remember it? Why do you need? If it didn't bother you, this would not be a topic.
When I think about like hate videos or fucking just certain sides of the internet, I'm like, there ain't nothing to fucking do.
No, I know.
Like, I'm not gonna like pitch you like my train of logic and how I've arrived at what.
Yeah, I like how he assumes that what people want is a cope, like just another cope to explain it, and not just for you to change your behavior to be less retarded.
Oh, I thought they were gonna say the war on drugs has been lost.
No,
sorry, we lost.
It.
Sorry, we've lost.
That'd be great.
Whatever. If we're allowed to drink, I don't fucking care what the government has to say about drugs. That's my take.
I think they should just make all drugs legal.
Well,
yeah, well, they do in some places, and like Seattle, and look at that.
You know?
Like, once I learned that the withdrawal...
It's just so funny, too, because, like, Seattle and especially Oregon did have, like, non-prosecution policies for pretty much all drugs. And it turned, obviously, like, as you would expect, it turned it into, like, Walking Dead drug zombie collapse society downtown. But, of course, despite the fact that they live in Seattle, they should have front row tickets to seeing why this doesn't work. They don't, because they have a nice house in the suburbs that's not really in Seattle. So it's like, yes, I'm going to posit a policy that will ruin a part of the city that I'm not in, and you should listen to me.
From alcohol, like when you become an alcoholic, is like one of the most dangerous
expert on alcoholism. What's so funny, and you know, I said before that I could do like a full 3-hour stream just covering like all of Anissa's bullshit in the background. I'm just going to give one example of why there's so much. And it's because almost everything she says is like immediately, like I said, she is a low IQ narcissist. So she does all the scheming and lies of a narcissist, but with low IQ. So they're just immediately sussed out and recognized. She is the female boogie, as strange as that sounds. So here's just quintessential example. This is her talking about their friendship with Ethan. We talked like once a year at best. They didn't even know we lived in Seattle. Boom, immediately just...
So, how you guys doing? I know you moved to Seattle.
Like, nice, great. It's like, why even... Whatever. This is her, like, a sneak diss, where she's like, my husband is so balanced that he made a worse video. Great. Okay, we have Anisa stuff, because we always have Anisa stuff, because she is, she's just the infinite, as they say, the infinite content glitch, right? First of all, Creator Clash. This is LA Beast saying that the event might be dumpstered. So that's funny. There was someone like Cope defending her. She's married to Ian. I also know that she is a sex worker. This is such a red flag. I talked about this in the first Idubbbz video where I talked about why like I don't like when people use the term, like there's a reason I say prostitute or slut or whatever, and it's because like slut shaming is a good thing. It helps women. It helps like high value women to reward them for virtuous behavior. Just like how you should reward high value men for virtuous behavior. It's the same thing. You think a female sex worker wouldn't have sex with a woman? Being a straight woman who has same-sex encounters requires... What kind of cope is this? Is this the you can be straight and have sex with women cope? Where's the meme where it's like Ice Cube being like, nigga, gay? You literally saw an obviously fake misleading blind item, came to a conclusion, and yeah, I found people find funny blind items and then they report on them and think like, this is top guy. Why are you on a TERF website defending ugly fat men who treat their wives like shit? Well, what does Ian treat his little wife like? Because we all know that when they break up, she's got like this whole, she's been baking cookies or whatever. She's got a whole story baked up for when the marriage falls apart. And then she's going to be the victim, right? I don't feel bad for Gila because she was in the IDF. If she can handle facilitating genocide, then she can handle her abusive and disgusting husband. Abusive and disgusting. Is there any? I mean, again, like, there's a lot to criticize Ethan Klein on. I don't know if I've ever heard abusive stuff. She wouldn't have, disgusting, yeah, kind of is. She wouldn't have had 3 kids of his if she wanted to leave. She won't, because the truth is she wants to breed as many Israeli babies as she can. Yeah, that's called the maternal instinct. If you don't have it, then you're the one with like a psychological problem, not her. This is not chimping out. Well, okay, so it is. Got it. Nor is it milk. Yes, it is. She could not possibly be calmer. Explain the inspiration behind her tattoo. You're gonna do the tattoo cope? Okay. I don't feel bad for Gila. This is responding to that. Not a retarded take, just too based for you. Okay. Great. So, yeah, odd. It's very odd to see this on a place like that. So, Ethan makes the claim that Creator Clash is going to get postponed because they've only sold 2,000 tickets. I could believe it. I mean, I could believe the 2,000 tickets thing. If you look at, like, Ticketmaster, almost nothing's been sold. If it is postponed, it's so funny because I was looking at the Anisa thread, and there's this poll at the top about whether it's going to be postponed, and I was thinking, oh, they should change this poll, right? Because we're getting closer to it. They haven't announced, like, they've left the event and there's no postponement, so it's probably not going to happen. And it's like, nope, fell for it again award. I'm an idiot. It looks like it's at least under consideration. If that's not true and he's just saying that, that's funny. I mean, like, this would actually be a case, like, legal brain thinking, like, putting out a lie like this is kind of like tortious interference, but I don't care. It's funny. So this is to be fair, you need a very high IQ. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to appreciate Anisa's tattoos. The symbolism is extremely subtle, and without a firm grasp of mid-20th century American tattoo history and the visual language of Sailor Jerry, most of the ink will go over a typical viewer's head. There's also Anisa's nihilistic outlook, which is deftly woven into her characterization. Her personal philosophy draws heavily from Joseph Mengele, for instance. The fans understand this stuff. They have the intellectual capacity to truly appreciate the depths of these jokes, to realize that they're not just funny, they say something deep about life. As a consequence, people who dislike her tattoos truly are idiots. Of course they wouldn't appreciate, for instance, the irony in her dagger through the rose piece, which itself is a cryptic reference to Simone de Beauvoir's The Second Sex. I'm smirking right now, just imagining one of those Instagram art majors squinting at her arm, wondering what it means. As the full conceptual brilliance of her traditional flash unfolds before my eyes. What fools. How I pity them. And yes, by the way, I do have an eagle tattoo, and no, you cannot see it. It's for OnlyFans subscribers only, and even they have to submit a short essay on Carl Jung's The Shadow before I consider approving their follow request. There's no way that the Jomhas are interested in Jung, I can tell you that. Because all their, like, therapy type shit is very not Jungian psychology. Whatever, who cares? So, yeah, that was the tattoo cup. So, the Wikipedia page for Creator Clash, there's currently an edit war occurring where people are trying to do stuff like, say, created by American OnlyFans influencer model Anisa and her husband. So, taking Ian's name out of it, very funny. Idubbbz publicly announced his support for Hamas supporter Hassan Piker. Backlash quickly followed. But the other thing about the Wikipedia is it's claiming that they know, someone thinks that they know who the replacements are. Some guy called Furious Pete and Peach Jars. This Furious Pete guy is funny because apparently he lost both his balls, which is tough. Now, you might think, damn, no balls, how is he going to fight? But if anything, it means he's more powerful because he's on TRT. And if you know anything about MMA, during the TRT era, those guys got blasted and they just like grew 40 pounds of pure muscle and killed each other. So this guy might be able to harness the ballless energy into basically going into this fight juiced and just kill this guy. And Wouldn't it be so funny if LAB's like, I know he has kids, I don't want to see him get hurt, but like just conceptually, he sticks with the event, he doesn't leave after Harley does, he's for the most part tried not to say anything bad about it, and then he just gets last minute red guarded, just like Chris Ray Gunn did, and they bring in this juiced monster to like kick the shit out of him. I mean, it would be good. It would be the storyteller's choice, but obviously it would really suck for him. This is, I don't know why this is like 0 resolution. Blame QB Farms. But, I showed the blind item thing or on Monday about the claim that Anisa's cheated on Ian with Denims. And she seems to be joking about confirming it here. Is this how you treat your secret lovers? It's so funny when you can tell Anisa thinks she's doing something like clever. And all she does is like provide more fire in the worst part of the story. Willymac Show did this long video, 45 minutes. I assume that most of this is stuff that I already covered in the long Idubbbz video. I appreciate it. Okay. Willymac Show is funny because I think a lot of these videos are good that he makes, but he himself, like whenever you listen to him have a conversation that's not a video essay, he seems kind of clueless. Like whether it's the Jan 6 stuff with Destiny, or he had a call with Hassan. And to be fair, Hassan was like really stupid in that call too. But I don't know. A lot of these video essayists, I feel like you could literally convince them the sky is red. Like you could convince them of anything. But I'm just gonna see like what the tone is of this. I assume, like, I mean, it's Idubbbz is unironically evil. I guess we already know what the tone is gonna be. But I did promise more gaming. Even though, let's see here. Let's try not to have the sound be all fucked up like I always do.
People that are attacking you guys, but they're not me. They're not Anisa. It's not Hassan.
I should go to the old city so I can get my fucking shit pushed in by some of the most inbred fundamentalist hicks.
It's not all these other creators that you're attacking.
Bro, they're literally making up stories to justify falsely calling CPS.
So the funny thing about the inbred claim is, Hassan likes to throw the term inbred around because obviously as a leftist, he plays into the trope that all the people he disagrees with are inbred, but statistically the most inbred people in the world are Pakistanis, and specifically beyond that, Muslims.
The other house is just like covered in dog, and he has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog. God forbid. I don't know what they do with it. They contracted a parasite.
There's some other stuff going on with this Bad Empanada guy that I thought about covering. There is this wild stream that occurred just last night where it's Noah Samson, who I didn't even know existed before this drama because I don't follow all these leftist guys. It was like Noah Samson on a call with the same Houthi terrorist guy that Hassan was on the call with, and then Bad Empanada. And like there was some kind of translator, and he was speaking in his like Tuscan Raider language, and they had to like translate between it all, and Noah's just like clueless because he doesn't know shit about any of this in reality. And he literally all he said, he's just like, I'm afraid to give my real opinion because the FBI might come after me, but I love Palestine. And it's just like, I can't. These are the same platforms that banned all the people right of Mao for daring. Like this is the same platforms that banned the kill stream for what? For like a 30-minute cringe debate about the Holocaust. Like one that like Ethan, like because he knew he had to, like disavowed at the time. Like they kicked all these people off, and now we have these guys talking about like fighting the FBI and how piracy is justified and all this stuff. And to be clear, I actually think that the Houthis are one of the few groups in the Middle East that the America should fight, just because they obstruct the freedom of navigation in the Red Sea, and it is to the benefit of the maintenance of the American empire to maintain the freedom of navigation. But and so I'm not going to say what justification or anything like that. It's just crazy to me, just the sort of content. He also, Bad Empanada, did like a 9-hour, like quite literal struggle session with Hassan the other day. The problem is all this stuff is so long and boring. Like I'm not going to just pull it up and play it. I'd have to like go in and clip it, cut it up, which I might do that. And I'll see if there's any good moments, but I don't know. I don't know if anyone cares about the politics aspects of all this.
I had previously never heard of in my life, called Giardia, from the dog that is...
I still think that's funny that these guys didn't know what Giardia is. Giardia is like what they teach you on day one in Boy Scout. It's like a very common, it's worry about drinking. Like if you do any outdoorsman stuff at all, you have to be worried about giardia.
All over his house.
So this is not a joking matter, by the way. It can be very severe and deadly to small children. I mean, much like many other illnesses, it's very, very, very dangerous when infants get the same sicknesses that adults get. It makes sense why he doesn't care about Palestinian children when he is neglecting his own. How is this happening?
Yeah, I love, like, that comment is such a crystallization of like the leftist concept that everybody is of equal proximity to you as far as what you should care about. Like there's no orders of love concept for them. There's no an African, like someone living 10,000 miles away is less my responsibility than someone right in front of me. And so then she makes that claim where it's like, well, he doesn't care about Palestinians, so he must not care about the kids in his own house.
How is it happening? How is this happening?
Crimea river. Her chat like saying, oh, we're going to call CPS. Oh, someone should call CPS. It's not even remotely like that. In fact, a CPS call is warranted.
Where they're
Okay. Well, he just said it. Like, this is what I was saying. I'm glad he has this clip because this is something I said repeatedly when I covered this before, where I said that literally Bad Empanada looks in the camera and says, call CPS. There you go. There's the clip.
well, they're calling CPS, Child Protective Services, to come to our house and break up our family.
You're not the biggest victim on the internet, Ethan.
Nah, apparently it's these guys.
Be mean to them. If they feel bad, if they feel harassed, honestly.
I'm glad he just jumped right into this. I was kind of worried. Like I said, this guy doesn't like the videos, the content and stuff is good. This is from the stream. Wow, he must have just cut this together like yesterday, because this stream, the 9-hour struggle session with Hassan and Bad Empanada, was just a few days ago. And it's funny because these guys are ostensibly on the same side, but Bad Empanada, because there was a period where Hassan was antagonistic to him, because how could you not be? He's fucking insane, right? He like had to put him through the ropes and basically make Hassan like grovel to him. And it's funny that all of this started as basically a ego-driven feud between Hassan and Ethan, where the Turkish tyrant wanted his basically like high elf slave to bow to him on every issue. And now he's been beat up so bad by the entire, like everybody taking Ethan's side essentially, that he's having to do a cope struggle session with borderline Argentine terrorist type guy. Like pedophile coded, not necessarily. I'm not saying he is, just coded.
Great. I don't give a f*** each and every one of them. We need to be mean to these guys. We need to be assholes. They deserve it.
I love that Idubbbz is crying because him and his wife got called a cuck, but then he crazy makes Ethan for people role-playing killing his wife.
Wait, everyone! Ela Klein's in the hospital. Guys, she was just a secretary. Ela Klein.
Take those prisoners. Take those IDF genocidal soldiers. Where do they keep the secretaries? Secretary got...
Human skulls are getting mailed to their house.
Around the same time, we received 2 human skulls in the mail at our home, which led us to having a very pleasant interview with the FBI. Things have progressed well past the point of...
Things have escalated.
That's just what they...
Yeah, again, this is the Herman Kahn 44-step escalation theory. This already happened on the right in the sector like 5 years ago. That's why everybody immediately jumps to nuking civilian targets by calling each other pedophiles and calling each other's workplace and all that stuff. But now this leftist space has been so protected on mainstream platforms that now they're finally having to go through it because of this like Israel-Palestine thing. And they're just speed running the 44-step escalation chart.
The internet does.
I'm done being nice to Ethan. I gave it a chance. My sincerity and my empathy in that last video was real.
Hassan's fans and orbiters are retweeting people saying, I'd love to swing their kid by the legs into an oak tree over and over again.
Maybe if Ethan's able to get some help, maybe if he stops harassing other creators, maybe if he does these things, eventually he'll find peace.
All of this is happening and somehow Ethan is labeled the harasser. How can you not see what's going on? They're doxing him and trying to take away his kids for mild political differences. That's why this video is sponsored.
There are no political differences. Okay, fuck your ad. No, buddy. No. I will not watch the ads. I will not pay for streaming services. I will pirate everything.
Hassan's disagreements on Israel-Palestine. Now you might think Ethan must be super far right or something. No, they agree on 95% of things.
Do you believe that Israel is committing a genocide in Gaza?
Yes.
Okay, great. This is a disagreement that you and I have.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. If you want to add that, like the genesis of...
It's casting the spells.